Yeah, Charlene.
It is very, very interesting. Listen, Jay's laughing already. It's very interesting being the only woman on this panel in the presence of very masculine men talking about this subject. You guys, so from what I understand, respect is a huge thing for men.
Mm.
And so when I hear you guys talking about how you are being respectful, it's not something I would ever question. Oh, why is he doing that? No, no. Men have a vantage point that women do not have. And one thing that strikes me about men, that you guys' experiences moving through the world is a lot different to mine. And so your behavior might be viewed as it's more probable for your behavior to be viewed as predatory
Mm.
or harmful. I'm not saying that it's the case. I'm just saying it's more probable that it will be perceived that way. And so I think that it's wise to move in the way that you guys have said, to be disciplined. And you know, you were saying, Jay, that you joined your boys where they were smoking. You don't smoke, but you didn't feel comfortable. There's something about the way that you move in regards to respect that I just admire. I think, well, I know that women don't necessarily move in that way. The lines are more blurry. And this is the reason why a lot of women get into problems.
Mm.
But I'm a fly on the wall, brothers. So I'm just listening, and I appreciate what you're saying, man. I really do.
Appreciate that, Charlene. JR, what's your thoughts on this dilemma? I don't know if you heard. Did you manage to hear the dilemma? Hmm? Oh, sorry, I muted you, bro. Go for it.
Yeah, I only caught a little bit of it. If you wouldn't mind running it back.
I could play the first part. Yeah, I can play the first part for you,
Cool, bro.
Cap. Just to recap.
I'm the type of person that if I go to my boy's house, knock the door, and his girl's in there. I say, yo, where, like for example, where's Mark? He just popped up. All right, cool. I'm gonna go sit in my car. I wait for Marks. I'm not gonna go in the yard. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
If I've never met his girl, I don't know his girl like that.
Oh, hey.
I'm not chilling in the yard waiting for Marks. It's all of those things there for me is just a bit too much, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, when lines get crossed and that,
I don't
it's
think
long,
like,
man.
see with my if I'm in a relationship with someone, yeah, that's someone that I trust. That's someone that's got the most trust in the world. And I don't like to be with someone that you can't have around your friends or feel weird or stuff like that. Like if I came home, if you've been to my house multiple times, even if you haven't met her, if she's someone that decides to be my partner, and we all know that you're coming there, I pop out and I come home and I see you in there. That's not a problem.
I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm
Not
saying
for me. Yeah, for you, it shouldn't be. What I'm trying to say is, it's more of a problem for me, even in our friendship. It's more of a problem if you go and wait in the car, because I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
I'm trying to tell you nothing.
Well, what are you trying to? What you're so starving you can't be around my gal? You're so hungry. What are you gonna do? So what are you trying to tell me? Go and wait in the house with her.
Okay, wait, hold on. What you're saying now, you sound like you're very innocent, yeah? And you sound like no. As in, wait, let me land. You sound like the girlfriend in the scenario who's pushing her boyfriend to get to know her sister. You get it? And the boyfriend's over there talking about, he's messaging me, talking about, you know what, I'm feeding the sister.
Yeah, I hear you.
You get it?
I hear you.
Those
Trust
things,
him.
he's linking the sister without her being there. And now he's talking about we have more in common. And she's innocently saying, I want you to get to know my sister on a genuine vibe. I feel sorry for her. Now my man's talking about, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I just think for me, if I haven't met the girl and you haven't introduced me to her, yes, I might see you in certain places, but it's just a high and by. Hey, you're right. Do you know what I mean? Dude, imagine going raving, for example, you introduce me to your girl in that rave. Then 20 minutes later, you go to the toilet, you come back and me and your girl just rapping in the corner. Yeah, you trust me. Look, even he laughed. You trust me. But like, brother, what are you not talking about?
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? If I don't come over and say, oh, by the way, we work together, or we used to go to the same college or school or uni, what are you not talking about? Do you know what I mean? But later on down the line, if it's like, oh, you know your girl, by the way, you know we went to the I was like, oh, okay, cool. Then you see us talking, at least there's an understanding. There's a foundation there. But just off the back, no. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. But that's just me.
Okay, yeah, I get the gist of all of that. But listen, I'm going to the car. Like I'm not going in my man's yard. I'm sorry. Like it took all it for me to watch all of that to listen.
Man.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, I don't know your girl like that to be going in the house and sitting there coaching, waiting for you, just me and her, right? I wouldn't like that done to me either. Out of respect for my brethren, out of respect for their relationship. What, you're not home? Okay, you know what? I'll bounce. I'll go do something. Holler at you later, or you call me later when you're free or whatever. But I'm not going in your yard to go and sit there and chill, bro. So that's on that. And the way them guys is talking, like, you know, maybe they're used to doing that, and they're quite forward and all them thing there around the next man's girl and wanting to chat to her and get to know her and all of them things there. That's cool if I'm there, but not while you're not going to be talking to my girl while I'm not there. There's only a few people I would trust to be able to do that, and they're family members that I grew up with, you know. So, but I wouldn't trust that. And it's not that my friends are necessarily grimy guys who can try anything, and it's not necessarily the case that my girlfriend might be naive or anything. It's just the fact that, out of respect for the relationship, I would expect my boy to come check me later when I'm there, and I would do the same. I'm not going to be alone with you girl. Simple.
This is so funny. This is so funny. I'll be honest with you guys. I think this is interesting. Okay, I think it's interesting because I think none of you are telling the full truth. I think none of you are telling the full truth. Yeah, I think none of you are telling the full truth. When I say that, what I mean by that is you're not telling the whole story. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the reason why you wouldn't be around that girl is because your ass is dark. Maybe you find it attractive. Maybe that is, and maybe that isn't. But it's because your ass is dark. Let's be very honest, yeah. And what I mean by that is Liam Nelson. I always go by this quote. Liam Nelson said, "Listen, I have a particular set of skills." Okay, and when Liam Nelson also heard his daughter, okay, when Liam Nelson heard his daughter was going to go to Paris, he said to her, "You can't go to Paris by yourself." You know why? Because he lived a particular life. Now, the reality is these two boys represent two different lives. You will never be able to trust anybody if you've done some grimy stuff in your past, or if you've witnessed too much grimy stuff and never said nothing, because you're going to judge it by your standard, right? That's the cold ass truth. Either you did the grimy stuff yourself, or you saw other men do grimy stuff and you never said nothing. Hence why when you decide to sit in a room, you're itching. You're itching because you know yourself how this could be looking like, because you've seen certain situations or you've been grimy yourself, right? Whether you've taken next man's girl, it doesn't have to be your friend's girl, it could be any person's girl, but y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all capping like, oh, you know, us men are disrespectful. No. You know your asses are grimy, and that's why you're saying what you're saying. That's the reason why.
Culture. I call cap.
You call cap? All right.
No.
Let's go round. All right, Jeff. Yeah. Have you ever done some grimy stuff like that?
No.
Okay. Have you ever seen Mandem do it though?
No. Because I don't associate with Mandem. Listen, I don't associate.
You never in your entire life, you never seen that?
Like, I've heard about it, but I've never actually. Listen, people live vicariously off through other people. For me, I don't associate with them.
People. What are you saying?
I'm just saying. I'm saying new era level of cap with this one, because personally speaking, I don't do grimy stuff with girls like that, because of what I'm hearing, because of the news of what people hear, and I'm like, nah, that can never be me. Because of that, I do not want my character to come in question like that. I move with people who live a certain type of way. I'm not saying that it's impossible.
Who did you hear that from? If all your boys are well behaved, how the hell did you hear it?
Bruv, YouTube.
No.
Hey. Bro. Also, listen, I'll just say this. At church, like people talk. People talk a lot, When it's like family members as well, where family members be telling secrets about certain people, and I'm like, okay, that's you. Cool. Thank you for the information, I know how to move a certain type of way. It's just me. If I hear information about it's like, oh, certain guys doing certain this and like that, and it's got, bruh, I keep myself to myself for a reason. I don't put myself in compromising situations where someone's going to be looking at me funny and thinking America that's going to come in a question. I don't move like that. So when it comes to this idea of, I've never been in a situation where another man's girl here's the thing, and also I'm just moving like Joseph out here because let's be honest, if a girl is attractive, right, and I myself lack self-discipline in that situation, and I'm not aware that this is my man's girl, all it takes is a little bit of Malibu, yeah. Next playing genuine pony riding. And then next thing you know,
very specific things.
and next thing you know, the door opens. The door opens. I'll leave it there.
So just a little bit of Malibu for you,
So
and
for me,
you gone.
Nah.
All right. Jay.
Well, maybe Bacardi, but
maybe. It don't take much. He's got Bacardi and Malibu in him, Sam. Jay, you never done grimy? You never seen grimy? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me?
I've not partaken in this situation. No. Have I seen it? Absolutely.
Yes. You witnessed it. There we go.
Some of the friends that were there have done that to other, not the friends that were, they haven't done it to each other, but they've done it to other people that I also know. So I know
that are kind of close to them. Okay.
Okay, so it happens a lot. So for me personally, that's why I said you have to know yourself. And I'm not someone who, like, I like talking about life, but I'm not someone who talks, like, I'm not full of myself. I don't say I'm this and I'm that. I just acknowledge my life when I speak about it. Whether people believe me or not, or whatever they have to say, I don't really care. It's just what's happening in my life. And sometimes I have to acknowledge that my life is probably unique to a lot of guys. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of guys have had my experiences, but a lot of guys have not. So I'll give 2 examples. I've had situations where after the guy and the girl's broken up, he's coming to me and say, Jay, you could have had that. I'm thinking, what? What are you talking about? Like, what conversations are you having? But what he's acknowledging is that the way she's spoken about me is as if she's attracted to me. And I haven't put myself in a situation to start flirting or anything like that. Sometimes I just show up. I'm just there. I just speak normally. I don't know what's going through her mind, but I keep those boundaries. But what I've noticed that doesn't stop people liking you if they're going to like you. I've asked girls these questions. Have you ever been with a guy and you've liked his friend? Many have said yes. I don't know if that's ever happened in my life, but many have said yes. And don't get me wrong, guys do it too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So many have said yes. So it's like, okay, I've seen affairs happen.
You want someone's first choice.
When they break up. when they break up, when they break up, then all of a sudden those two start getting. So I've seen this a lot. And attraction is attraction. Some people don't have discipline. Some people don't have morals. Some people don't have boundaries.
That's true.
When it comes to, as guys, when it comes to women, we all know guys who don't really, well, apart from you, Jeff, apparently, we all know guys who don't have boundaries.
Don't do that.
When it comes to women.
Don't do that.
So in my life, this is why I say, no, I'm not playing that game because I don't like what they're doing. I give one last example. There's a particular girl that's married to a friend of a friend. Like, I know the guy directly, but we're not friends like that. He's not on my phone. There's no reason for us to talk beyond the times that we see each other. And I only see him when we're at a mutual friends event or something. He's married, yeah. And as far as I know, I've never met his wife before they met, everything, none of that. I've never met her. I only met her while they've been together. But every time I see this with his wife, the way she looks at me, like her face lights up. She's looking at me like, I'm thinking, yo, what?
That's what Negroes are afraid of.
What? Like, what's going on here? Because I'm like, do I know you? Like, who's been saying what? Because why did you look at me like that? And like, her eyes are following me, you know, that seductive eyes, just doing the most. And I'm like, my man's even facing other ways. And I'm like, I don't like this. So I go out of my way, I greet him and I greet her, but I don't stick around to talk. Listen, my missus might be watching now. She will tell you. There's times where we are walking outside and a girl could be walking with a guy, but the way the girl was looking at me is a disrespect, not only to my missus, but a disrespect to the guy that she's with. That's what I say. I've had to understand my life and no more naivety, no more giving benefit of the doubt. I have to be real and say, do you know what? We live in a very dangerous time where anyone can do anything for whatever reason.
That's true.
There's many people who, again, like you're saying, bro, who are not really with their first choice. They're with someone, but they're not with someone who does it for them or who all the way that they're happy with, you know, who scratches some sort of itch, you know, especially certain girls that like a certain guy to carry himself a certain way. they might not have that in their partner, but they're still attracted to that in the first place, which is a whole different conversation anyway. So I've seen these things in my life, like, but I've never decided. In fact, I give another scenario. Two people were together. To get him back for the things that he did, she was trying to throw the box at me. She was sending me pictures. She was sending me messages. I was telling her, yo, stop this nonsense. I was tempted, but I said, Jason, by the way, this is like how many, over 10 years ago. But I said, that's not the type of person that I am. And I wasn't tempted because I liked her. I was tempted because as a man, I'm thinking, woo, this girl's ready. Dude, I'm low. Woo. And
Let's be honest.
I'm not doing that. I'm not. Even though that guy he's a clown, like, or was a clown, I said, end of the day, I'm not gonna do that. That's not me. I have morals. I have respect. Like, as a man, I carry myself in a certain way, and I do not want that tag at all. You know, that's not me. So I had to reject. She stopped talking to me because she couldn't believe that I rejected. I was like, I'm not gonna play into your game, trying to get him back by using me, because you know by using me how he's gonna feel. That's a whole different conversation about. Do you know what I mean? So I've had to understand my life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying.
See, Kojo?
You know.
Listen, he's still telling dark stories, but anyway, he's still telling dark stories. Let me get JR involved first. We'll jump in. Let me get JR first so that he can jump in. No. He's still telling dark stories. You see how he told a story? Yeah, I wasn't aware at the time, and the ladies and wait, get out of here, Joe. Oh, get out of here, Joe. Get out of here, Joe.
I was fully aware.
Yeah, you're not fully aware. At the time you said at the beginning, when I didn't understand what was going on, I was going to loudly about you have
to learn somewhere. Right?
You learn, and when you learn, you realize what I said. The world is dark. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you realize the world's dark, you don't enjoy the attention. You enjoy the attention at the time, please.
When I was a boy, now
don't worry. Not now, but I'm saying at the time, you know. I understand what you're saying. He's still dark. JR, because he's not telling full stuff. He won't do it. It's internet. JR, tell us the truth, bro. You know, have you been grimy? Have you been dark? Have you been a bit naughty before? You've been perfectly good.
Man,
Never taken the next man's gal. Never that. Not even interested in the next man's gal, to be honest.
I got one more.
You men are good, you know.
Yeah,
I got panelists that are so good.
Yeah, also,
Jay, I'm gonna come and say something that's gonna prove you right, then, Kojo, about what you're saying.
Yeah. Also, my friends, people I grew up with, circle, like, they wouldn't do none of that to each other at all. You know, it's just not something that is discussed. But have I heard about these things happening? Of course, but not in my circle, not in my friends, not even my acquaintances do that. So.
Okay.
I hear about it.
I don't mean just like still your boy's girl. I'm not talking that's very dark and grimy. I'm not talking about that.
No, stealing
the next man's. So none of your boys are stolen the next man's girl. None of your boys have cheated. No. Your circle needs to. Everyone needs to have your circle, because clearly you got that holy circle before it's holy. That you're telling us none of your boys have cheated. None of them.
No.
Not one of them. Since you've grown up, not one of them.
No, none of my boys are on that, bro.
You need to be scared of that group, because even the church boys have been cheating. If you can tell me all your circle of boys, not one of them cheated, I'm gonna tell you something. Someone's lying to you, bro.
No, for real. No one does that, man. Like, the thing is that I have some friends that locked down early, and they haven't cheated on their girl. They just locked down early. Been in relationships 10 years, things like that. And then I have other friends who, you know, may have kids and all those things, but they're not with the person no more, and they're moving. But there's never actually been a situation that I can recall, and I'm going right back all the way to secondary school, primary school, all of that. There's not one situation where my boys or, you know, my homies, anybody like that, has schemed on or stolen or been around another man's girl to the point where they're looking to do anything. It hasn't happened.
Know what your friendship circle is like, because you got that angelic friendship group. You got that angelic friendship group.
No. I'll tell you what it is. And
I know women friendship groups. I know too many women friendship groups who've done madness too. So I'm surprised that you. How many boys you got? How many of them? 3, 4, 5?
No, there's tons, man. I grew up.
Get the frick out of here. Get the frick out of here.
No, but listen, I'll tell you what it is. And this is unfortunately
You might
you
be
know,
a-
a
you might be
trope
a-
that we have. Like, so a lot of my friends focused on money. They focused
fair.
on coming up and you know, doing it that way. Like, girls wasn't the main reason, and it wasn't a distraction at all.
fair.
It's never been that,
Okay.
you know. So you
Explain something.
don't really look at who a next man's dating or anything. You know who she is, and you kind of just give her a pass and steer clear of her because she's with your brethren, you know. But I've never actually seen that, because I know that if that did happen, then people would come to blows over it, and it
So
doesn't
not
go
even
like
cheating. I'm talking about cheating. Forget the
Yeah,
fact because
yeah.
it's very hard
I
to
mean-
find two boys who sold someone's girl. That's not a norm. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about just in general, just cheating. That's not in your books either. That your friendship group is amazing.
No, cheat.
Your
No,
friendship is
I
amazing.
don't have anybody
need to-
in my circle that has straight cheated. No, no, not in my circle.
Hey, you know, your group is amazing. So what's the fear then? If you come and sit in a house and your girl's there, no one's ever had no fears, nothing's ever happened. All your boys are mad respectful.
No,
So
I've
what
seen
is the big deal between if you go and sit in a
No,
house with your girl?
I have some friends that would probably go and chill in the girl's yard and wait for the man to come home.
So why
I'm
wouldn't
saying
you
I
then?
wouldn't. I wouldn't
Why?
do that.
You're respectful, right? You've never done anything like that.
No. I not only have I not done anything like that, but I wouldn't. But I wouldn't feel comfortable having conversations where I don't know what he's told her. I don't know if she's telling me stuff that she hasn't told him, and I'm not getting in the middle of all of that.
Yep.
So for me,
What?
I'm staying out of it. So
wait,
for example,
your boy says to you, no, because the actual
Yeah.
scenario, before anyone just changed it, the actual scenario
Yeah.
is your boy has told you, because the way he said it kind of sounded as if like you came home, your boy weren't there, and then you came. No. You've been invited, and the girl's there already, and your boy hasn't
Yeah.
got home yet. You get home, and you get to his home, whatever. Then she's
Yeah.
there. So you can't stay in the room when she's there. You can't sit on the couch and have a normal conversation with a woman in the room. Is that what you niggas are telling me?
No, I
Is that
can,
what you're
but I would
telling
choose
me,
not
boys?
to. No, I can, but I would choose not
Why
to.
would you not want to do it? I don't get the beef behind not sitting in that room and having a conversation. If she's a human
Okay.
being, you're a human being. So what's the beef?
All right, I'll give you a scenario. This hasn't happened
Go
because,
for
like
it.
I said, it hasn't happened to me. But I'll give you a scenario that could potentially happen. All right, so say for example you're there chilling. She invites you to come sit down on the couch and wait. What do you guys have in common? You both have a relationship with your friend, right? Who's not there.
Yeah.
She might start venting. She might start tell you something. Oh, you know, I really don't like the way he said this. Oh my god, he doesn't find me attractive anymore. And then
Yeah.
if conversations start going like that, you're going to be in a tricky situation because you go, no, you are attractive. Trust me, I don't know what he's doing. Listen, come on, man. Why even put yourself there? Why even put yourself there?
Why did your mind even go to the fact that she gonna say, "I'm not
Because
attractive"?
that's what
but you
happens,
know what?
man.
I'm gonna tell you that you are attractive.
And then you're going to be in a situation where when your boy turns up now, you're going to be like, "Rah, you know what? Should I tell him what his girl was saying about him?" Or,
Exactly,
you know.
bruh.
Why would you
Like,
not?
no, it's
You have
mad.
loyalty to your boy, not to the girl. I don't understand it. And why
Yeah.
do you think the girl's just gonna suddenly start spilling her guts about your boy, unless she's trying to be intentionally messy to
Well,
try and get you into a
like
situation?
I said,
That's the
what do you have in
point,
common?
don't know.
You both have him in common. So what else what are you going to talk about? Are you going to actually start trying to
So
get
you
to know
can't have
her?
a conversation about anything else apart from your boy being there. Oh,
You
how's your day
can.
going? Okay, start talking about your day. What do you do for work? Oh, and you
Nah,
start
I
talking
wouldn't
about
be doing
life.
that
You tell
then.
me you can't have that conversation.
No, I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that because she might feel like I'm trying to get to know her or hit on her or something.
Oh,
Take it. So, no, I'm not doing that.
yeah.
Bro.
All right, go on, Jay and
listen.
Jeff. You don't want to jump in because y'all rapping.
Listen, for real. Like,
Go
listen,
on.
for real. Listen. For me personally, yeah, reason why I've never been in these type of situations because, personally speaking, yeah, you hear so many stories like this, right? At this point, with all the information that I'm hearing, yeah, whether it be from old friends or be it from family, because of that reason alone, right? I do not want to put myself in any situation where any possibility of that could potentially happen to me. I don't want that. Personally speaking, I don't want it at this point. So because of that reason,
Yeah, you
I'm
missed
not
the
even
whole
go-
day. You're
bro,
right.
I don't want to. I don't want to
fine.
take
Checking. No, I
Now,
went to work today
am
and
I
I didn't sleep well last
saying
night.
I
So when I got home, I was
to
tired.
if you
Hold on,
can do that.
go on.
Like Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Right? Yeah, we can talk about life. We can talk about what you're into, your hobbies, all of that. I understand that. I'm just saying, out of this blatant respect for the person that I came with, my boy, like who's like a brother to me, for me, just for respect for him, and because I want to protect myself and also protect what they got going on in the relationship, their relationship, which I'm not a part of. I do not want to put myself and even tempt fate. I don't want to put myself in a situation where something could happen, because it only takes one spark of attraction, and the next thing you know, it could spiral into something that it doesn't need to be. It's not about, oh, I'm not insecure. It's none of that. If anything, it's just basically protecting the sanctity of their marriage because I respect what they got going on. That's it. Bro, then like a number of times my mom will be telling me, oh, son, you know so and so, they would do. I'm like, oh, really? And then my dad will be like, oh, so and so. And I'm like, you hear stories over the years. That's why I'm not trying to act as if I'm better than now, but like from primary school or secondary school, sixth form, university, personally speaking, with all the information I've been taking in, I do not want my character to be questioned. Yeah. So the cheating thing, bro, get out. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not worth it. No, just no.
Jay said he has something to say. Go on, Jay.
Well, first of all, have I
like
cheated in my life? Yes. If that answers your whole question about the dark arts, yes, I have done. So obviously, in my own life, I've experienced it to know it can happen to anybody, right? But
okay, so
to go for this specific point, so I'll give you two more. I love stories of my life, by the way. I have no qualm just talking about my life. I love it. It's all good. There's two specific situations, right? One situation is me and a particular girl, we was just doing what we was doing. She wanted to, I guess, start dating properly. I said no. So what we was doing continued. Now around a couple of months later, different people were coming to me saying that they saw her with a particular guy. I was like, okay, what's all right, then cool. She ain't said nothing to me, so I didn't bring it up. A couple months later is when she told me, oh, I'm with so and so, right? And I said, okay, I heard, and that was it. Kind of moved on. This girl was still calling me. She was still doing all sorts to still get me to come and see her. So in terms of, and I knew the guy as well, by the way, because you all be like, yeah, I knew the guy directly, but he didn't trust me. And I've had a lot of times where guys have felt threatened with my presence. Guys have felt threatened with me being around. But I'm not out there trying to flirt with the girls or doing anything like that. I just understand how the girls might view me. I just understand, like in that situation, I don't know how he feels towards me. Maybe he feels, when certain types of men are around, I don't using the term alpha and all that stuff, right? But when certain types of men are around, there's other men who feel inadequate, especially when it comes to the attraction of ladies. And, I've been in many situations where that's been a thing. So I don't want to put myself in those situations where I can have my name talked about, because because she wasn't real with me from the beginning. My name did get talked about at the time, but that wasn't my fault. I didn't know that was what's happening. And the guy will be talking the utmost, and I'll see the guy, but he won't say nothing to me. You'll just be talking to other people. And I said, you know what? If I ever feel there's a time where it becomes too much, I'm gonna come up to him, and that's it. Because if you got an issue, come and talk to me face to face. He never did anyway. He never did. But that was it. The second story is one of my boys. He was with a girl. When I first saw this girl, I didn't say anything. There wasn't anything, right? But my boy is the one who made a beeline. And I said, you know what? This girl needs healing. Leave her alone. He didn't listen. He continued and whatever. I didn't speak to this girl, have a proper conversation for about 2 years. Now at this point, they're no longer together. This is, I think, a couple of weeks ago, I told you a story about the first time I spoke with a particular girl. She told me everything that she had been through. But she had been with my boy for off and on for like 8 months. I didn't tell him anything. So I understand what type of man that I am when it comes to how women relate to me. And I happen to be a guy that they can relate to me and talk, and Jason can understand them. But I happen to be a guy that they also are likely to like. So I have to operate differently. I have to have boundaries. And I remember someone came up to us one day and said, oh, you two would suit. And I'm thinking, are you crazy? Like, this girl was with my boy, and I'm also in my own relationship. And you know what her response was? He's already taken. I said, what? Excuse me? That shouldn't even be on your mind. You was with my boy. And I'm with someone that you also know. Like, and that's why for me, again, it's you just don't know how people think or feel. So there was a meme going around, was it last year, the year before? about girls saying, "Oh, you know, when you meet his group, you realize that you picked the wrong one." You know, and it's like, wow.
You can get that.
Yeah, it's like, so that's why for me, based on the video, it's just about respect. I understand my life. I know that everyone's life has been my life, but that's it.
Wait. So no, let's wait. Before you just say it, let's just keep it a buck now. Let's keep it real now, because what we're really talking about is some different type of dynamics now, right? Because there's a difference here, right? First and foremost, let's not pretend. Depending on your friendship group, and I always tell people this, depending on your friendship group, where you stand look-wise is also very important to how this is going to play out. Now, if you're the ugly one in your group, you ain't got no chance. Don't worry, you can sit in that room and nothing gonna happen. But if you're the finest one in your friendship group, we got a problem, because the girl is gonna be looking like, I done missed out the finest one in the room. Okay, now that can always be a problem. I agree that, right? And that's obviously circumstantial, because different groups, different looks. We understand that, right? But if you're the finest one in that group, you got a problem. So I'm gonna just be honest with you in that one. Yeah, maybe not sit in a room, that one too. Number two, I think the other aspect is, if you know when, and we all know, okay, there are two factors here, one in yourself and one in the other person. If I meet you and I'm like, God damn, you fine, I might not need to see that room. It's just a relative thing. I don't need anything to be thinking in my brain. I'm a real person. The hunter's always in me. If you know what I mean, I don't even want to think about something. I want to be out there like Joseph. Okay, so I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna be outside. So if it's in me, I'm gonna be outside. Okay, because I don't need to be in that space consistently, right? Number two, if it's in her, I'm gonna be outside. So if I can see that you're giving me a bit too much eye, or say, and here's an example, right? If you're known, because now as you grow in stature and stuff like that, when you become known and people see that, so you now have to be like, well, I gotta be, because I don't know what you're gonna do, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you could use me, do something. Yeah, who knows what you might try to, you know what I mean? Whether it's, you know what I mean? So I understand that too, right? But if I walk into a room and you walk into a room and it's like, yo, nothing a go on, we don't feel nothing, you don't feel nothing, I don't feel nothing, we should be able to have this conversation, just be able to sit down and just talk, you know what I mean? But I definitely understand what you're saying, and I'm giving that perspective. Someone said that black men lack integrity. I think that's not a black men thing. I think that's a men thing, that some men do lack integrity. But I think the reality is, for us as men, the reason why I wanted to pull out all this stuff is because of the difference in how we operate with men and women. For instance, right? There's a reason why Joseph ran. And I was being facetious. I wanted to draw out some things from the men, but there's a reason why Joseph ran. Right, and the reason is because we don't want to give you a chance. We don't want to give ourselves a chance. We want to give you a chance. We want to give nothing a chance. And once something is said, violence will ensue. And that's the difference between men and women. I think that's a little bit different, right? Once it's said, violence will ensue. So I can't risk, someone saying something, because violence can ensue. And at that point, my life can be in danger. And I'm not saying that women don't fight. I'm saying that more than likely your life is not going to be in danger if this situation happens, right? And out of the two of us, who are they going to believe? Even if I have integrity and I've always been on point, out of me and you, if you decide to tell a lie or even a half-truth, let me say a half-truth. Let's say I walked in and I was like, oh, damn. And I thought you were fine. And now you're going to tell your boy, oh, you see the way your boy was looking at me? He was like, oh, fine. Now what's going to happen? Right now, I got to be very. Now, who's gonna believe, me or you? Now I'm forced to be in a position like, do you like my girl? No, I don't. But I did say she was fine. But I can't say that too. I'm gonna be. You know what I mean? So it puts it in a very dangerous position, especially for us as men, because when they question you, you will not win that battle out of the two people, right? And even if you win it today, tomorrow is only another thing, because now you have this against your name. So it's like there will always be in the back of his mind, like, oh, that girl did say that last time. And, if another girl says something, even if the person's lying, and another girl says, or she looks at me in a different way, your boy might look at it a different way now, or your friend might look in a different way now. So you can't even risk that situation. You want to mitigate those risks, because we do know that the world is a dangerous place out there. So, yeah, that thing. Jay, Jeff, what we're going to add first, and then...
the fact you said you talk about the violence part, you've actually made me think a little bit about this, because I'm not so much in the light that I haven't had a little bit of darkness in me now. I'm even replaying things.
Oh,
that happened.
it's coming to you now. So you have some darkness.
Well,
No.
it's
Go
like-
on.
I'll say that there's a layer of grime in secondary school. I remember one time, there was this one girl, that I wasn't sure if she was still going out with a certain guy in a relationship, but I just had to basically be attracted to the girl who just so happened to go out with one of the guys who was one of the toughest guys in school. One of the toughest, like literally, he was so tough that every time my face would hurt when he'd be kicking the football, and I'd be So what happened was, I think in music class, I was talking to her. I think we were feeling each other, we were talking, just a conversation and a hug. The day after that, my man, he ends up punching me right in the shoulder, and it flipping hurt. Violence. But that was just from a simple talking to, because apparently they were still together. So in that situation, for that reason alone, because it could go there in terms of violence, I don't put myself in a compromising situation where if I know I don't have self-control over myself, I don't put it. Okay. Well, okay. I'm just saying, I just don't put myself in them type of situations. I love my life. I want to protect my peace. I don't want problems. That's it. I don't want problems. That's all I'm going to say about that one.
I just want to say, listen, I don't want to ever lie like I don't have eyes. Okay, I'm gonna give you a scenario, a quick one, right? Have you ever been, and I'm not gonna say no names, have you ever been in a situation where, and that's why I said it, let's say for instance, met one sister and then you meet a sister, it'd be discombobulating. You know, I'm saying that you have to catch what I'm saying when I say the sister. Yeah, it'd be discombobulating. You know what I mean? Right? It's not like you're gonna do anything, but now you're like, ooh, it does hit you. Listen, and I can understand you're a human being. So that's what I'm saying. If there's an attraction aspect, I don't want anybody as a man per se to stay around, because you have to be very careful, you know, what can happen in both aspects. But you know, and I'm sure the sisters will agree too. They might say, "Oh, we ain't never do that wrong." But who do you think we're doing the thing with? Okay, so but you know, they do the exact same thing, right? They see a brother and they'll be like, "Oh, he's so good looking," and then they meet the friends and then, "Oh, damn." Now, you know what I mean? So let's keep it a buck and let's keep it real. And that's what makes it dangerous, because let's say, for instance, right, it's, whether it's your boy's girl or whether, even if it's let's say it's your girl's sister, right? If you have to spend insurmountable amount of time around the family and be around her. I remember one situation, bruv. I didn't do anything, but I remember one situation where I met the first sister. And, you know, the conversation was riveting, just amazing, loved it. And then, you know, you get a little bit naughty, but then I met the other sister and I said, what have I done? I should have waited and seen, but I would have never met her if I didn't meet the first sister, right? You know what I mean? But in your head, how you might think about it, and that's my dark self talking, by the way, it's like, damn. And here's the thing. I don't know about you men. Here's my thing. Jesus is Lord, so he's here. So thank God for him. But if it not be for Jesus, if the friend or the sister offered it, would you say no? That's my question I'm asking. Without Jesus, Jeff, why are you looking at that for? Why is Jeff looking at that? Why are you not looking at me like I'm the only one that's dark here, as if I'm the only one that's thought about these thoughts?
It seems so, bro. It seems so.
I'm the only one that's thought about this.
I wouldn't do it.
If someone offered it to you, you thought about it.
Do it, bro.
I didn't see you do it. I didn't see you do it. I said you haven't thought about it.
Damn,
I didn't see you say you did it. I said you haven't thought about it. I'm just saying you don't thought about it. I'm just saying if your sister was to offer it, I'm just saying you're not gonna think about it.
No.
All right, cool. I'm gonna sit on this ledge for myself. Because clearly I'm the only one that can admit to themselves that I have a dark mind. But yeah, surely my guys don't have a dark mind.
Sister.
Okay.
Sister. Hey,
none of you thought about it. That's clear. The ladies are going to tell you a different story, because every woman here in the chat will tell you that they've had an experience that either the friend or the brother or someone has tried a little something. But you don't want to say it. It's okay. I will say it for you. Me personally, I know I've been in a position where I've thought about it. At least I've definitely given one eye, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you. Yeah, I won't lie to you. But obviously, clearly, some of you don't want to tell the truth. You know what I mean? It's up for you to say Jane Doe
We're
in the
telling the
past.
truth, bro.
Huh?
We're telling the
So,
truth.
yeah,
man.
like you were saying in the beginning. Now you're telling me you have a dark story. Get out of here.
I said,
Get out of here. Get out of here. I mean, do you know how many women will come and tell you? If I ask all these women in this chat, have you been in a relationship and a man's friend or brother or someone has come to look at you? They'll tell you. Most of them will tell you the same story.
They'll say yeah.
They'll say yeah. But we're not one,
They'll
but we're
tell
not one
you.
of them guys, though. We're not one of them guys.
Ah, okay.
That's the thing.
You're not one of those guys. You're all of you are role models on this planet.
No,
so.
wait. The only time that's happened to me is the story I said about my friend's ex who was trying to throw it at me. That's the only time I thought, because she was trying the hardest. But I said, that's not me. But any other time in my life, how I operated is, if I think I want to do it, and back in the day, I would do it. So I exercised discipline in my mind for a very, very long time. That I don't care who you are, I'm switched off. I don't care what you do. The person that I'm with has my focus. I'm not going to look at a sister or a friend and think, eesh, she's a bit hot, That's just how I am right now anyway. That's just, I just can't do it.
I'm not saying, I'm not being that now. Like, do you know what I mean? Don't incriminate yourself, boys. But I'm saying,
No,
Jane Doe it, man. I said Jane Doe it as the past. What's wrong with you guys?
Bro,
you guys are rubbish. He
Even
said
in the
Jane Doe
past, I
past.
still wouldn't go for sisters, bro, or friends. I know I've got
even-
friends who do that, but not me.
Yes.
In
Even
the
in,
past, I'm
previous,
saying.
in my past, even in previous relationships, I just I just lock it off. Like when it comes to,
man.
bruv, when it comes to just if I'm with somebody, that person that I'm with, that is the only person I'm thinking about necessarily. I'm not gonna put myself in a compromising situation with other girls. No, bruv, you do realize that news can travel very, very fast, very fast. So why am I going to put myself in a compromising situation, where because I've disrespected my girl, next thing you know, she's talking to other people. Bruv, I don't need the grief. I don't need it. I don't
know why your girlfriend has to point, but I hear you.
Bruv,
Precious.
I just lock it off.
I was just gonna say, Koji, I really tried to corrupt these good men.
Listen, all these boys are perfect, Precious. Hey, JR especially JR's friendship group. Not one of them ever cheated in their whole entire life. They've never looked at a woman. In fact, Jesus didn't even when he said his scripture, it wasn't to them. To JR's friend, it wasn't to JR at all. Did Jesus Christ didn't touch them? But Precious, talk to me. What are you saying? You've heard us speak. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I get both sides. I think it's difficult when you are I think a lot of it also is you have to look at your own relationship and think, are you checked in that relationship or are you checked out? And I think that's where it allows the room for you to now be looking at other people and thinking, because the reality is, look, we're gonna see other people and we're gonna find them attractive. That's just normal. Your boyfriend's gonna see a girl with a big bum and yeah, that's great. Or you're going to see a guy with big muscles and you're like, yeah, that's great. But I think it's about, you have to look at your relationship and think, is there something missing that's making you more susceptible to then being kind of not coerced, but tempted to go and ruin what you have there, And I think when you're thinking about also, can you trust your girl? You should be with somebody you could trust to be in a room with your friends, And I know we're going back to thinking about that meme when people are you meet your man's friends and you realize that you don't have the leader of the pack. But I guess there's also some self-reflection of that, because let's be real, I think men are quite good at being able to accept the reality of their situation, right? Yeah. And I think, for example, in the group, I think most men know who the guy in the group is going to be the one to get the girls. They know, right? But they kind of pivot and think, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I can use to draw girls in. So I think when a guy is going out there and getting a girlfriend or whatever, he already knows what his social standard is. So he knows that, okay, if I'm going to bring you to come and meet my friends, I know that, okay, maybe I'm not number one, right? But I know that I'm good in all these other aspects and that should be enough. So I think it's a situation where then that girl has to think about, okay, cool. Yeah, you might be the best looking of the bunch, but have you got all the things that I need you to have in order for you to actually truly be better than the person I'm already with? And I think that should be vice versa, because you know, yeah, you might be with a girl and she's beautiful, she's amazing, and maybe her friend is just that tiny bit more better looking, but does the girl have everything that you are like, yeah, no, this is what I need though, this is what I want, and I'm good and I'm happy here? Because the grass is always going to feel like it's greener on the other side, and it's not really. It just looks like that because the sun is shining. So you just have to really think about that's what you have to take into consideration. And you know, yeah, people fall victim to temptation, and I think as yourself, you should know what your limits are. You should know what your boundaries are. So if you know, okay, cool, I'm a bit wishy-washy with the willpower. Okay, let me make sure that I'm not in a compromising situation where anyone can put me in a situation where I may not live up to where I need to be, or or someone could even plant a seed of doubt in my partner's mind about, I think I missed what that said. Someone could even plant a seed of doubt in my partner's mind, and you know that, okay, I don't want to be in any of that situation, so cool, let me just avoid it. And you have to have that discernment to know that that's what you've got to do, if that's if you know that you struggle with that temptation. Because at the end of the day, cheating is a little bit of a character flaw, isn't it? It's a morality thing. So yeah, that's what I think.
And you know what I would say, I'll be honest with you, I've been a bit facetious. Obviously, I actually agree with the boys, in terms of putting space between yourself and people, right? Because obviously, relationship counseling, people reach out to me, you know what I mean? Like if they're in a relationship or they're married, they might reach out to me and say, hey, I want to talk to you about something, but I might know who they're dating or who they're married to, you know what I'm saying? But I always have to put things in place to make sure that, hey, we don't need no trouble. You understand what I'm saying to you? So go back and and talk to them so that we don't get in any trouble. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. As well, like I remember someone said they wanted to study like some psychology thing with me, but I said, before you do it, I need you to go back and ask your partner first if that's cool. Only reason being is because if I'm going to study with you and I'm going to give you some information, I just don't want a situation where this could look bad and someone could be said against you or myself. We might be innocent, but once it's said, listen, I got a dark nature. If they say against me, I'm going to do it. If you tell me I did it, I'm going to do it. Why are you accusing me of doing it? I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? No, I'm playing, but I'm playing. I'm changing my ways. I'm playing, guys. I'm not like that anymore. I'm changed. But no, I don't like being accused of stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want to be accused. I don't want to ever my name to be spoken of in that particular instance, unless I did it. If I did it, then yeah. But if I didn't do, I don't want it. So I think it is about being smart in terms of how you maneuver and not putting yourself in compromising positions. And I think that's fair. I do think that's fair. So I do understand where the boys are coming from in terms of, coming to a room and the girls there, but you can have a conversation, I think.
I think you got to be realistic. Look, I get it. Like, people make mistakes. It happens, and things happen. I think.
Look at Ryan Giggs.
I think that's probably where. Oh God! Why do you have to go mention Ryan Giggs, man?
But that man's a cheating bastard. He cheated on his own brother's wife. He's 8
years, bro.
I'm 8 years, a whole affair on his wife.
Bro, that's a mess. That situation.
He had to just do that.
I'm sorry, Presh. Go for it.
No, it was funny. Look, I get it. Look, mistakes happen, and people, make mistakes and stuff. But I think that's where the integrity comes in. The reality is that if, I think people, it's kind of like going back to when people used to say, men cheat because it's just sex, and women cheat because it's an emotional thing. True. That's not true. That's not true. It's not.
Cheating because sex.
Because do you know why? Because a lot of the times men will say, yeah, it's just sex. And maybe in their mind they think it's just sex. But a lot of the times when a guy is able to get to that point, it's because they're already checked out. And that's why I said it's not just about the sex, because I find, for example, some guys will say, it's just sex, don't worry, like I still have emotions for you. And what they don't realize is that we both look at each other in the lens in which we think we should look at each other. And what I mean by that is a woman will think, okay, men are visual. So he needs to be attracted to me. Yeah, cool, he might love me and stuff, but he needs to have that attraction so that we can really formulate that. And men are like, okay, she needs to love me, she needs to respect me, she needs to have this emotional connection. And what happens is he will think in his mind it was just a physical thing. It's not like I love her. But that almost feels worse because in her mind, that's the thing that keeps you where you are. So if that's gone, what then? Because if it was about emotions, you wouldn't have done it. Because your emotions would have been like, nah, I can't disrespect her like that. I love her. So if it was just about how you felt and the fact that you still love this woman, you wouldn't do it. And I think that's why sometimes when a man will like, oh, it's just physical, they think it makes it better, but it actually makes it worse. And I think that's why I'm saying that it's not always just about sex. For a man to get to that point of being willing or okay to just cheat, he's already checked out from you. And I think that's why men cheating is based a lot more in emotion than men like to admit. And I could be wrong. I'm not a man, I get it. But that's just from my observations of whenever I've ever talked to my female friends about times that they cheated, or even other people seeing other situations. That's always been the common denominator, is that there was a change and that man is checked out. And once that man's checked out, it's a lot easier for him now to be tempted.
That's it. Let me ask a question to the lads and to the ladies. Did he is a hypothetical. Did he cheat because he doesn't love his girl enough, or he's checked out? Or did he, in fact, no, change it. Does a man stay faithful because he loves his girl, or does he stay faithful because he loves the Lord? And the Lord can be replicated by he has his own moral code. Is it that he didn't cheat because he loves his girl? Or is it because he cheated? He didn't cheat because of the God that he serves or his own moral code? That's the question I'm asking out here. That's the question I'm asking.
I can go.
Go for it.
So those of you who have listened to me talk for weeks even up to last year, all right, will know that I've been married before. And there were times where it was horrible, right? There was times where it was just bad. And I could have literally cheated because of emotions, which is what Precious is alluding to. But what Kojo said is, the Lord. And the reason why I didn't even entertain that thought is because of my reverence for God. I said, I do not want to be that type of man. It wasn't even about her. I didn't want to be that type of man. And by that time, I did check out, but I didn't want to be that type of man. That or even for her to hold that against me, that, this is what Jason did, and to justify everything. No, I said, no, I don't want to do that. So that's a situation where it was my relationship with God is what stopped me being the stereotype, let's just say. Now, the other side of it is when it comes to the women, what I usually say is, can a man literally have sex with a woman and get on with his life? Yeah, as a man, I know that. I've done it. I'm surrounded by boys who have done it, and some still do. And it doesn't affect their relationship emotionally that they have with a woman. Some have even proposed. Some are even getting married. So I can say 100%, it's not as emo as some people think it is. Absolutely not. But there's clearly some guys who are about emo. I've seen it. I understand why they've done it because of, like I said, how they've been made to feel in the marriage. And doing that somehow makes them feel more like a man, makes them feel wanted. It does happen. You know what I mean? There isn't just one way of doing things. But how I look at cheating is, if the verbal contract that me and my missus has spoken about is sleeping with another woman is not part of it, and a man obviously for her as well, then that means if I go and do that, I give her the right to question the love that I say I have for her. Because as part of that contract, this man is going to love me through his actions, and those actions do not say that. So that's where the second bit is, which I agree with. When a man, when it's not even about how he feels about himself, but when he doesn't want to do that to his missus and go through that rigmarole, he then has to take a step back and say, do you know what? I don't want to do that to her. Now, if he has checked out and he doesn't care, then he will do what he's going to do. And it's got nothing to do with emo. He just wants to enjoy whatever he's going to enjoy. until the time where she might find out. He might say, boo hoo hoo, I'm sorry. But deep down, look, I say as a guy, look, not a lot of guys actually do care, but they have to play the game. They have to try and be the nice guy, apologize, and all that stuff. But ultimately, they will still continue being that guy because that's who they are at that point in time. That's a decision that they've made. That's what I mentioned in the beginning. When it comes to making some of these decisions, there has to be a change up here. There has to be a change there, because our bodies are going to respond the way they're going to respond, but there has to be a change up here, and you decide what type of man you want to be. So right now, I'm purpose driven. Right now, I'm focused. I want one woman in my life. I have no desire to incorporate another woman in my life whatsoever. It's me and my missus. She's my helpmate. That is it. But that's a conscious decision. That's come from a place of discipline. That's come from a place where I desire only her, and I've picked her as someone that I desire. So I didn't just not in my life just because. So that's what's going to be me. So I always say it goes back to here, because yeah, and that's it. That's why I look at guys all the time when I speak to men. It's about you. Deal with yourself, because you are the problem.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, listen, because time has run out, so we need to go to the next topic real quick, because it was about Gabrielle Union. I kind of went on because it was a great conversation, and some of you are lying. So let's talk about Gabrielle Union and talk about a 50-50 situation, because I haven't got any honest men on this panel. But let's get Gabrielle Union and deal with her situation with Dwayne Wade. You guys have been hearing the conversation across the pond on the waters. They're talking about 50-50. Because, 50-50 is roommates. So just to let you guys know, Americans don't take too kindly to 50-50. You say 50-50 to them, you commit a crime, a commandment. So I just want to let you guys know, if you use 50-50 here, you could be disqualifying yourself from finding a mate in the crowd. So, use a different term. Just use a different term. But yeah, no. So we're talking obviously about Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade situation, and how quite recently they were making headwaves, and the headwaves were around this whole 50-50 conversation. And so I kind of want to get you guys thoughts. She said she splits the bills with Dwayne Wade. What is your opinion? What is your thoughts? First and foremost, let me ask your opinion on 50-50 before we go into Gabrielle Union. Okay, very short answers. I don't need long ones. Very short ones from each individual person. Okay, from both male and female, a man and woman. Okay, Precious, what's your thoughts on 50-50? Real quick, what's your thoughts on 50-50?
I understand it. I don't know if it's something that personally that I ascribe to, but I also have done it before. So I understand the need to be 50-50, especially right now. But I think it's an individual decision. If it works for you, calm. I think a lot of it is rooted in whether or not you feel like the person that you're with is stingy, is really the element of what it is, more than so the 50-50 part of it, and whether you feel your partner is generous or not.
Okay. I hear that. JR, what's your thoughts on 50-50?
I think that there has to be an equal contribution. That doesn't necessarily mean 50% split on bills, mortgage, and everything else like that. But as long as there's a contribution that seems equal to the relationship, then that's what I define as 50-50. Like, if I'm in a relationship and I know that I'm going to be paying the mortgage, lion's share of bills and things like that. But I do expect her to chip in somehow, like with what she can do. That may not be financially. It may be doing stuff other than that. I like to cook. So straight away, I'm not going to trigger no one by saying I want my woman in the kitchen or anything. Like, no, I'll come home, I'll season up the food the night before and cook it. So that's out. But I'm saying you have to contribute in some way, because I don't want to feel like I'm paying for everything, plus I'm doing everything, and then it's like I'm serving you on a plate everything, and you ain't doing nothing, And I haven't been in that situation personally, but yeah, and I can see why 50-50 is triggering to some people. But you know, in the times we live in now, you're gonna have to be flexible depending on who you pick as a partner.
So I hear that. So JR's gonna be complaining about the fact that I cook, I clean, and I pay bills. And what the hell you doing in this house, chick? Okay, but Charlene, what's your thoughts on 50-50?
Listen, this 50-50 debate is a problem. First of all, I'm very traditional, so 50-50 doesn't work for me. But it's problematic when you try to quantify contribution, because if I'm going to be the mother of your children, how do you quantify legacy? How do you quantify me making another you? How do you quantify that? If we're going to just limit it to money, I just think that it's too simplistic for me. And that's one of the reasons why 50-50 is a huge problem.
I love that. I love that. She said, "How can you quantify that?" And she's actually right. I don't think you can quantify it, but I would, get your checkbook out because the bills need to be paid. They're quantifiable. Jay Anderson, talk to me. 50-50. Are you down for it or not? What are you telling me? Because I'm Bill's gonna speak some speaks. I'll tell you that now. What are you telling me? 50-50. Keep it short. 50-50.
Yeah, I'm a traditional guy. So if a man's in a position to be able to have that lifestyle for his family, why not do it? I don't understand guys who can do it and don't want to do it, because if you want your woman to play her role, well, I don't understand what the issue is. Some people avoid it by saying all money goes into one pot. You don't even have the conversation about 50-50. This is where the bills are paid from. All our money goes into here, or a certain amount of money goes into here, and this is what we do. The rest of it, you have yours, you have mine, we do what we want. You can avoid that conversation. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'll leave it there. I'll keep it short.
Jeff, 50-50. What's your thoughts on this?
I would say that to each their own. To each their own. I think when it comes to the whole 50-50 conversation, I would like to be more traditional in from the biblical sense. I think, personally speaking, I would only want to be in a relationship with this, I guess, equal amounts of reciprocity. I'm not saying financially speaking, but it has to be a form of an equitable sort of situation where, at least if I'm contributing towards something, if I'm initiating something, you reciprocate something. So if I'm handling the major bills in the household when it comes to mortgage, cool, no issue with that. I don't have an issue with cooking, don't have an issue with cleaning. I already do that already, so I don't have an issue with that. I think I'm just looking for someone who can also, help out wherever she can. That's it. That's how I just kind of see it. So teach their own. And rightly, like you said, Charlene, if you are in a position where you're quantifying how much somebody does, is that really love? If you have to be in a place where you're thinking, is this person doing, bits and bobs and stuff like that? Now you have to question the amount. Nah, not for me.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No, love that. Listen, hey, look, I love this. So let me ask a question now. Change it up now. Okay. All right. I know you guys want to be traditional. All right. But your bank account doesn't say that. So if it doesn't say that, what happens? I'm not saying this, I'm not saying about you guys. I'm saying personally in general, if you want to be traditional, you want to be traditional as all that you want to be, but your bank account is saying we're not traditional. My bank account is saying you better find a partner and you better be democratic. So in that case, what does a brother do in that moment then? Real quick, just want to give some thoughts, just real quick. The brother, for the brother, what does he do in that situation? You want to be traditional, but your bank account is telling you better partner up.
Then you'd have to negotiate. I mean, if it's a partnership at that point. At the end of the day, it's like, first and foremost, are you willing to compromise on some of the things that you want in a relationship, and also acquiesce to some of the things that the significant other wants as well? That's the question that I have to ask. If you can't have a traditional mindset if your bank account ain't screaming it. You can't have this traditional mindset to say, I expect my woman to be at home, I want my woman to be a housewife. That's foolishness. Yeah, your bank account, you can't afford that lifestyle. And especially in the UK right now, we need 2 incomes to make it work. So it'll be a bit foolish, and especially if you're coming from immigrant households, unfortunately, there's this idea that a woman is expected to be working, cooking, cleaning, do all sorts, and you're not having any form of input into what that's going on, nah, I can't rock with that. I can't rock with that. At that point, you're literally at that point you're taking advantage of the person that you're with. At that point, you're literally having your cake and eating it too. You're wanting a privileged lifestyle and expecting to. In that point, in essence, you're actually, especially if you're married, you are, in essence, you're messing around with the vows because you're not putting in that hard work. Marriage is not just about vows, it's also the work that you put in. You also have to be engaged in the relationship. You can't put this whole burden on one person. You have to try and find ways to make it even and balance. That's what I'll say towards that.
Love that. Jay, nice and short. What's your thoughts? Bank account saying not traditional, but you want to be traditional. What are you saying?
Well, this is why I say you got to make decisions based on your bank account, because if you have to do some level of 50-50, have that conversation. Be with someone who understands that, and make sure what she's saying is the truth. Some ladies will say it's okay when they get married, when they get with a person, it's not okay. But I also want to say, when it comes to men, is it ever truly going to be 50-50 throughout the time that you're married? Because when she gets pregnant and has to take time off, money goes down depending on what she's doing. She may even want to stay at home for a while. A lot of women nowadays are saying, I don't want to go back to work straight away. I want to have the option to stay with the kids 2, 3, 4 years old, and then decide what to do. I might not go back to work. I may start a business, do something on the side. So as a man, you can't even have this 50-50 mindset as a default. You have to have the discussion if that's your circumstance now, but you have to play the long game. You have to understand, where are we going? What is our vision? What is the purpose? Because I think every man would want to say to their babes, listen, baby, you don't have to do that, Don't worry about the stress. Let me take on the stress. And that's it. That's what every woman wants anyway. We already have this 50-50 conversation because of the economy that we're in. But genuine women take feminism out of the way, that can go in today's feminism, that can go in the trash. Like, would generally say, I want my man to lead. I want my man to provide. And I am also realistic about what that means. And that's my happy place. And I will treat him like a king.
Love that. JR, traditional mindset, but the bank account is not traditional. What are we telling me?
Well, you're going to have to discuss that with your partner, like Jay King said. If she's not receptive, or she's not going to waver on that, then, you have to question whether that's the right partner to be with, because every relationship's going to have tough times, turbulence. If you change jobs, if you lose your job, it's through thick and through thin, right? So if she's more of the type that's going to bounce as soon as the money starts to get low, then probably not the right one for you. And also, like was previously mentioned, if your missus gets pregnant and she wants to, she's going to have maternity leave anyway, right? She's going to get paid and all of that. But if she decides to take some time out to raise the children for the first few years, then you are going to be providing. And if your bank balance doesn't allow for that, then, man, you're going to have to come up with some constructive ways to work harder, but still find the time to devote to your family, raising them, right? You're still going to have to spend time with your missus and help her. And when she needs to sleep, you're going to be up late nights and all the other stuff like that. And, what's the alternative? The alternative is, you can't afford to maintain the relationship. You can't afford to keep your woman. And if children come, you're not going to be able to afford to do that either. Childcare is very expensive. So, if the alternative is, if she does go back to work early, you're going to have to find a babysitter or childcare, and that's expensive as well. So I think you need to have real conversations at that point. When you're married, you're talking about these, or even before marriage, you're talking about how finances, how the importance of it in your relationship. Is it one of the top 3 most important things that's keeping you together? Or is it something that, like we know as men, money comes and goes. Unfortunately, as much money as you make, it doesn't always stay there. Dwayne Wade, who the topic was about, he's not playing NBA no more. He's retired. So them NBA contracts, they're dried up. They're finished. So unless he was a smart man investing his money in property or some other assets, he may get the occasional sport analysis, basketball analysis gig, but it's not long-term stable money anymore. Those Nike deals and Nike contracts, they're dried up. So my point is, if a man's occupation changes or the finances change in the relationship, then yeah, like hopefully you have a partner that is willing to understand that, and then you can work on a plan on how to rectify it. Doesn't mean she's got to go out and work more. There may be other things you can do to maybe take on another source of income or learn or study upskill to try and get something more lucrative for you.
Okay, so since you opened up the Spearway, let's talk about it then. So Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade, what are your opinions on Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade? Let me get the ladies in first because they haven't had to speak. Charlene, Gabrielle, Dwayne Wade, how did you interpret the situation? What did you see? What is your perspective?
Well, from my understanding, they decided to have a 50-50 based upon Dwayne was being very alpha in his leadership, first of all. That wasn't working for Gabrielle. And so they decided to be 50-50 on that basis. Now, here's the thing. When I first read the article, I felt sad because she spoke about the anxiety and the responsibility of being a provider. And she spoke about it cutting into rest. And it made me sad because I think it's a way for a lot of women to say, well, I need to have my own because somewhere deep down, I don't trust you to have me. That whole thing of I've got you, I don't trust you to say I've got you. And if this goes belly up, then at least I have my own. And it made me sad because, oh my goodness, if you can't rest at that level, when can you rest? If you can't be free from scarcity mindset at that level, when can you be free? That's why it made me kind of sad. But yeah, this 50-50 thing, it's a problem for me. It just is, because I think to myself, I feel like it's my job to inspire my man to 200 times his income. That's what I feel like my job is. Through my practical resources, my support, everything. But that's another topic. I digress. Back to you.
Thank you, Charlene. Precious, what's your thoughts? Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, what do you think of it?
I do agree with Charlene on a bit of like, yeah, to think that somebody who's earning that much money a year and has such a, vast network is thinking, I still have to try and provide in a way or try and protect myself in a way. But I also, on the other hand, do understand the mindset of wanting something of your own or something that provides security, because the reality of the situation is you just never know. And you don't go into a marriage or anything thinking that. You go in thinking that this is something that you're going to work at. You're going to put all your effort in. You're going to figure it out, go through the peaks and the valleys and have that unconditional motivation to keep trying to make it a better relationship and keep working on it, empowering through all the ups and downs of life. But, there are times when things do go haywire and they do go awry. I think as Charlene was saying, with the idea that he started off as alpha and he started off as the traditional male, and that didn't sit within Gabrielle's spirit. So it's making me think that maybe it wasn't even necessarily that she felt unsafe with that traditional role and that aspect of when he's the leader and he's in charge. And maybe that's because maybe she doesn't trust his leadership. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she doesn't fully trust his leadership or fully trust that she will be protected by him and so forth. And maybe that's because of the fact that he was previously married and previously had kids, and maybe that's what's there. But I think in a marriage, I think for me anyway, I do believe in that traditional aspect of things. I do also think a woman should be able to work and have money that she can survive on her own if anything happens, because it's also that you have to remember that anything could happen to the man's job, right? He could lose it tomorrow. And while, yes, he's looking for the job and he's trying to figure it out, something has to happen, because the bills doesn't stop just because he's trying to look for another job. The bills don't stop coming. So somebody has to now cover that other person. When somebody is struggling, you have to step up and cover. So I think women should have that mindset of being able to think, if something does happen and I do have to cover my husband for this moment in time, I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to cover us. I need to be able to cover the kids. I need to be able to cover all of these things. And I think that's what I would say for me personally. That's my personal mindset. I'm fine with I'm fine with the traditional aspect. I think that's probably what I more lean to naturally. But I'm also with the mindset of life happens, things happen, and if you're going to be a proper partner in this relationship, you need to be prepared to step up if something happens, and you need to figure out how you're going to help. And it might be, okay, you might have to be 50-50 for a bit, and then it resets itself. But that's the dynamics of life. That's the ebbs and flows of life, and that's how life is always in a state of flux. We have to adapt to it. You know, and it's that idea of, it is for better, for worse. Obviously, we're not saying accept. There's things that we shouldn't accept, but I think if you can work on it, if you can work through it, if you can really push through, then you should. And yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you, Precious. JR, what's your thoughts?
So I took from what Gabrielle Union said that the scarcity mindset is external to her relationship, her marriage with Dwayne Wade. I think you know, she's made a career for herself, and he's got a career, obviously, and even if he did try to take the traditional you know, provider role, I think the struggle that she is talking about, from my perspective, is the fact that she's scared to lose what she's built. Like, scared, you know, she's kind of you know, she's expressing concern about how she's taking care of other things, other people outside of the marriage. It's probably a common thing, you know, but he's not out of work. He's not broke by any stretch of the imagination. So it's not a Dwayne Wade issue, so to speak. She not once mentioned that it's something that he's, you know, he's culpable of. So I think the way to address it is to, you know, speak to him and see if he can lighten the load in that regard, so she doesn't have that burden, that stress. But you know, at the end of the day, their marriage seems to be flourishing at the end of the day still. You know, we haven't heard anything salacious from what she said, particularly about him. So I think it's just something that she came into the marriage with and she's struggling to let go of.
Love the insight there. Thank you. Jay, what's your thoughts?
Which one, bro? Jeff or me?
Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade situation.
Me, yeah. So I agree with JR. She didn't mention Dwayne Wade at all, although we could say maybe there are things that she didn't say that is there deep down. However, I'm just going to take what she said at face value, and it's just based on the external pressures that even they both have. They both have to look after people outside, as what happens when you make a lot of money. We don't know what those finances look like in terms of how much they're spending. I know sometimes celebrities get into an issue because of how much money they are using to support their families. It just comes with the territory. For example, I have a child of my ex-wife, right? So I give a certain amount of money that I've never failed to pay every single month. For me, that's a deficit every single month, but I know it's going to a good cause. So there's nothing for me to complain about. I enjoy supporting my child. But we and my missus have had a conversation about, well, that's money that's obviously missing. So for me, I always think how am I going to replace it? What do I need to earn, etc., to make sure that doesn't become a problem? Because it is something a woman has to think about if she's going to be with a man who has kids, who has responsibilities. You know, it's just, okay, where is the money going? So you can easily look at it as she's thinking from a responsibility point of view. They've got so much they have to pay out. Maybe it's better if we both do what we need to do to make sure we have excess for us in case anything goes wrong. That could be an avenue. The second point is, like JR said, this is something that she's had way before she even met Dwayne Wade like that. You know, she's been quoted as saying one of the reasons why she cheated on her ex-husband was because she was a breadwinner, and there was a certain power that she felt that came with that. You know, and I guess from what she's been through in her life, there's a certain level of masculine energy that's there, which reminds me of many women who have just had to rely on themselves. They couldn't rely on their fathers, their, you know, different men. They've had to go out and do what needs to get done. So she just reminds me of that type of woman where you can see there's something there that she needs to deal with, and she's brought that into the marriage. If, you know, Charlene said, well, they've likely had a conversation and said, you know what, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. I need to be able to do certain things as well. That's all down to control. That's it. They need to feel safe. I talked about that in the beginning when I broke down the psychological aspects that we have when it comes to relationships and dealing with ourselves in conflict or others. It's just the need to feel control and need to feel comfortable. Although it doesn't actually make you feel comfortable, it actually makes it worse because you won't be able to get off that ride. So to me, she needs to sit down and figure out where it's coming from and just deal with it, because it's a lot of stress on her head that she doesn't need.
Love the thoughts. Jeff, you get the final say. Talk to me. Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade situation. How you feel?
I'll just simply say that it's difficult for me to really delve deep into this, only because when it comes to celebrity lifestyles, and it's tough. The 50-50 part, I mean, I guess I've been looking at how people have been reacting to it. Like, why would Gabrielle opt for a 50-50 relationship, especially if you've got a guy who's making so much money and stuff like that? But again, it's ebbs and flows. It's ebbs and flows. Everybody's relationship dynamic is different. Some people, maybe due to their upbringing, what they may have witnessed, may not want a traditional lifestyle. Some people would want to feel a sense of independence or a sense of responsibility as a form of protection due to what they have witnessed and what they have seen. So sometimes a dynamic, what would work for one person may not work for the other person. Some people are telling Gabrielle, you need to go for the traditional. She's thinking, nah, I wasn't raised and I didn't have that outlook. And she gets with a guy like that, who now they're trying to make it work. And if they have people that are now looking after the money, there could be potential pressures. But if Gabrielle's not complaining about it, then I can't speak on something that she has not verbalized. That's all I can simply say. I'll say that relationships, whether it's a traditional or whether it's 50-50, it's ebbs and flows. Sometimes some people would have to take the reins. Sometimes it just depends on the season that you're in and how much you're willing to tolerate and how much you're willing to actually work with the person and agree with that. So until you're able to get to an equilibrium that both partners have established a level of peace. All I could just wish for is that for both of them, that they find peace whatever choice and decision they make. That's it.
Beautiful team. Thank you so much for your thoughts on Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Listen, audience, it's been an amazing time I spent with these guys. It was a fun time. I try to get the boys to come out of their shells and tell some truths. They hid themselves and tell their own truths out here. But no. All jokes aside, no, it was a good conversation. I enjoyed. I enjoyed trying to get them. To play a little bit, but honestly, it was good conversation, good breakdown at the very beginning as well, and some fun times in between, and a nice little ending as well in terms of your thoughts. So Charlene, Jeff, Jay, JR, Precious, thank you so much for coming through. Audience members, thank you for spending time with us as well. We enjoyed the time we got spent with you guys. We're back tomorrow for Married at First Sight. I know a lot of you have been asking me what happened to the lives. First of all, I was tired. Number two, I'm tired of the show. Okay, I can't lie to you. We're 20 episodes in. It's ridiculous. The show should have like maximum 13, 14 episodes. Why are they doing a 21 week season when it's been a week, 7 weeks? It makes no sense. I got bored. I got tired. I said, there's nothing more I can add to your lives, guys, by doing any more lives. Because the reality is, this show should have ended like 7 weeks ago. Okay? You rarely have shows with 21 weeks worth of footage. And for 7 weeks, it's barring. Nothing's happening. So we're back this week because it's before decision day, and the next week will be decision day. So we appreciate a lot. So listen, stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again tomorrow night for another enthralling conversation. Much love and much appreciation. See you very, very soon.